Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where today we will be taking a look at the Leclerc Ares Prototype, otherwise known in game as Peace Sells. And I'm assuming that's a Megadeth reference. I'm not a Megadeth fan. If that is a reference to the band, please let me know because, well, in game it is called Peace Sells. But for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to call it the Prototype. Okay, so for those of you short on time, here is my quick overview. The Prototype is an Era 3 Premium Heavy. It is a Leclerc. We already have a Leclerc in Era 3, so why should you buy the Premium version over earning the Tech Tree version for free? Well, the Tech Tree Leclerc has 310 more hit points and is down 1.4 meters on its concealment. When you compare it to the Prototype, those two, the HP and the concealment, those are both compared to the Prototype. So, what is the point in spending 14,400 gold on a tank that is slightly worse than the Tech Tree version? Well, my answer is there isn't really. Is the Leclerc Prototype a bad tank? No, absolutely not. But you can, in theory, get the Tech Tree Leclerc for free, and it's better. So, is it bad? No, the Prototype isn't bad, but the Tech Tree one's better. It's like, this is a difficult one. But what I'll do now, I'm going to take a look at the Prototype in a little bit more detail, and I'm going to compare it to its closest premium rival, the Object 292. The more astute of you out there will know that the MBT-70 is also an Era 3 Premium Heavy, but the MBT is lacking so much, in my opinion, that is just not worth comparing it here. I'm not going to be doing that in this video. Okay, so without crew or equipment, the Prototype has 633mm of pen on its standard rounds, each of which will do an average of 550 alpha. The 292 has 900mm of pen on its standard rounds, each of which will do an average of 760 alpha. So straight away, the 292 has the better gun. But in all honesty, the 292 has a totally ridiculous gun. I mean, it's a 152.4mm monster. It's just ridiculous. The Prototype has 3,600 hit points. The 292 has 3,850. The Prototype has an unboosted max speed of 72 km an hour, while the 292 has an unboosted max speed of 70 km an hour. The Prototype has a max view range and concealment of 565 meters and 482 meters respectively, while the 292 has 500 meters and 475 meters respectively. So the 292 has better pen on its standard rounds, better alpha, more hit points, is 2 km an hour slower, and has worse view range and concealment. Not to mention that right now, the 292 is also the current season level 100 tank. So, technically, right now, the 292 can be yours for as little as 2,000 gold if you're willing to play through the 100 levels of the season. But outside of the season, the 292 will cost you 17,000 gold, which is a fair bit more than 14,400. So the Prototype. It doesn't compare all that well, but in all fairness, the 292 and the MBT are kind of gimmicky. I think anyway that they're not traditional heavies. The MBT has the whole forward and backward speed, equal forward as it can go just as fast forward as it can backwards. It's got that going for it. It's got ATGMs. It's got 5 of them and a pretty poor performing gun. The 292 is a poorly armoured heavy with an absolutely monster gun. Neither of them really fit the heavy mould all that well. The Prototype is the first premium Era 3 heavy that really is a typical heavy tank. Combine that with its custom Megadeth crew, which has custom voice lines, which I think are pretty damn cool by the way, and it's got a very, very cool custom skin. It's got all of these inscriptions on it, which I can only assume these are lines from Megadeth songs or some kind of reference to Megadeth. I'm not a fan, so I have absolutely no idea, but nonetheless, I still think this is a very cool custom skin. The tank, you know, the prototype, it really is quite nice. But like I said at the beginning, the tech tree Leclerc is better, if only just slightly better. One unique point, though, that may sway you in favour of the prototype is its armour. The Leclercs, in-game, have a two-part lower glacis. The tech tree Leclerc has a small upper section and a large lower section. The prototype is the opposite. It has a large upper and small lower. On both tanks, the upper section is the more armoured. On the tech tree version, it's 570mm, on the prototype, it's 500mm. And on both tanks, the lower section is 60mm. Which, you know, that's clearly the weak spot. Frontally, that is clearly the weak spot for the Leclercs. So the question is, do you want a small section of 570mm and a large section of 60mm? Or do you want a large section of 500mm and a small section of 60mm? From the front, the prototype can expose more of its hull before the 60mm plate becomes visible, but none of the armor angles are really that big, so it may not be that much of an advantage. But still, you know, if you're teetering on the edge of uncertainty, not sure if you should get this tank or not, that may be something that sways you. It's something to consider. All round, though, the armor of the tech tree Leclerc is better. Finally then, moving on to the economy stats of the prototype. It has a 50% silver boost, 10% tank XP boost, 4% free XP boost, and a 25% crew XP boost. That crew XP boost is pretty good for Cold War, so if nothing else sways you to buy the prototype, you could use it as an Era 3 crew trainer, which I am personally not really against that, because a lot of the crew trainers that we have in Cold War sit in Era 2. So in closing, is the prototype a bad tank? No, it really isn't. In fact, I quite like it, and I am tempted. I've already bought the crew. I've already got the custom 3D crew, which, again, I'll say it, I love the voice lines for it. It's very nice. It's definitely not a bad tank. Absolutely not. It is not a bad tank, and I am tempted to buy it just because I love the look of this thing, and I do enjoy playing the Leclerc, so having a bit of variation with this tank would be nice. Do I think you should buy it? Well, I really can't say yes or no, because it's going to be down, you know, take everything into consideration here. If you're hard up for money, then no, you probably shouldn't, because you can earn the tech tree Leclerc and get a slightly better gaming experience. If you're, you know, if you've got gold just sitting there and you're thinking, geez, I really want a new premium to spend my gold on, that's cool, then the Leclerc, the prototype, it definitely fits the bill. It definitely is cool. I mean, that custom skin is awesome. I love it. The crew is awesome. I love it. It's not a bad tank by any stretch. So there you go. That's my kind of roundabout way of saying, oh, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Should you get it? I can't say yes or no, but I am slightly leaning towards yes. And another thing I will add about the Leclerc is that, in all fairness, with everything we've said, it does fit the original intent for premium tanks in World of Tanks console. That being, premiums are not supposed to be better than the tech trees. They're just meant to offer some variation. So if that is the definition of what a premium should be, then the Leclerc nails it perfectly. Okay folks, if you've enjoyed this video, please leave it a like, if not a dislike. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.